And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talking Tech. This is the weekly podcast from MobileTechTalk. This is episode 46. Somehow, we have been doing this 46 episodes. That kind of amazes me. I don't know why it amazes me. 46 episodes isn't all that many, but it's still a fair achievement. I think I'll be more surprised if we get to 100 somehow.
Well, I guess, but 46, given the random weeks where it didn't happen, this could be coming up for a year.
Yes, actually.
Somebody needs to go back and look and see when the first was.
I pity the poor bastard that has to do that, but it's probably going to be me. So,
Yeah.
I'll have someone else to edit this. I'm not editing it. Anyway, welcome everyone to the 46th episode, which is Snap That Snapchat. I felt really sassy when I wrote that the other day, and I'm not feeling it so much today. Anyway, so yeah, this is still going to try and take on that different format, which is less news orientated and more discussion orientated. And I realized that I only put one of the discussion topics down, so I'll have to try and remember what the other one was. Anyway, should we get into it? So
sure, why not?
So the first one is kind of obvious if you know what the name of this episode is, which I just said. So Snap Inc., because they're no longer called Snapchat. Snap Inc.'s spectacles went on sale this week. Kind of. So this is kind of a weird thing. So we already knew the spectacles, which look somewhat like fake Ray-Bans with really big rims on the sides. They were going to cost $130. They have a camera in one side and a battery and a button and wireless radios and stuff on this side. And you press the button and it does a 10-second circular video. You can stop it. You can stop it before 10 seconds by hitting the button again. But the snaps are saved locally on the glasses, and then the next time you open up Snapchat, they're synced over Bluetooth, and then they're saved in your memories or whatever. So, Mark, I don't know if you use Snapchat. I'm assuming not.
I don't. And to be honest, I don't think it matters whether you use Snapchat or not. I think having seen images of these things, nobody's going to wear those. Like nobody apart from people who Snapchat are paying to wear them are going to wear them.
I have somewhat similar feelings.
Yeah, I mean, these don't look like nerdy and cool. These just look
weird.
Yeah, we'll go with weird. It's not the word I was going to use, but the word I was going to use would probably get censored. So, yeah, we'll go with.
Well, I mean, let's see if I can get them. I mean, me and you both wear glasses normally, so these are never going to be for us anyway. But when I think of like people wearing like cool glasses, they end up being like aviators, something like these. And these Snapchat spectacles are definitely not those.
There's nothing cool about them. Like the aviators, I mean, that's the sort of thing I'm going to go, Top Gun reference. If you fly a fighter jet, then, you can kind of wear whatever you like and it's kind of cool. But no, I'm sorry. If you had made, like, Tom Cruise and whoever the other bloke was wear these in Top Gun, they would look like tits.
And the thing is, They look like they've tried to go for the non-aviator but still Ray-Bans, if that makes sense. The ones with the slightly thicker rims. They look like they've tried... The ones that most 3D cinema glasses are modeled after. They look like they've tried to do that, but put circular lenses in.
Somebody was like doing a lot of drugs and a lot of late night Nintendo Wii playing, and then they decided to design some glasses, and they wanted something that looked like it would belong in a Wii game.
All right, sod it. I apparently don't need to see, but I really want to just wear these for the rest of this podcast. Actually, no, I do need to see. I need to see the note sheet. I can't see if I'd have thought about this properly, I would have put my contact lenses in before, and then just done that. But anyway, no. So they look like someone's tried to make the thick-rimmed Ray-Bans, but put circular lenses in, and then just tried to make them look a bit whimsical, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think you're being really kind. I think you're
I
trying to
am.
get a review pair off them, and
Oh no, they've already said they're not handing any out to media. They've
well,
already.
that's hardly a shock. Okay, well, nobody's going to pay any money for these.
Well, no, like the people are like they're going on like eBay and stuff for
No,
like $800.
is this actual people, or is this people Snapchat is paying to drum up noise about?
I don't think so. I think this is like genuine people because people are paying. Like, I think, where was the first one? It was Venice Beach in Miami, I think it was. And there's a vending machine, this bright yellow vending. It looks like a minion from the Despicable Me movie, but it's like this big yellow vending machine with a big circular screen with an eye. That is fucking terrifying. It's an eye that wakes up and looks around, and its mouth is where it dispenses the sunglasses. But there's like a card reader that you put your pin in, or it's America, so you put your card in and hope for the fucking best. I don't know. And then it just essentially spits out this case.
Yeah.
But I think there were people in line for like 5.5 hours, and
these are verified. These are not people Snapchat was
no. This is like people.
Do you have evidence, like real evidence that Snapchat?
Well, no, I have
these people because
I don't think Snapchat could have paid that many people.
Really?
Because they couldn't keep it in stock. They had to keep going back to the vending machine every couple of hours.
Mm.
And there are people from like The Verge and stuff that couldn't get them, so they had to buy them off like people in the street that like decided to buy 3 pairs at a time.
Yeah, until I see verified proof that any of these people were not being paid by Snapchat, I'm going to assume that Snapchat was paying them.
Okay. I mean, I'm usually a jaded son of a bitch, but I think
they just look so terrible. Like, I'm sorry, but no. I mean, who is paying $130 for those? I mean,
and do you know what the funniest thing is? The camera quality isn't even that great. I'd probably say the camera quality is somewhat close to like between Nexus 4 and Nexus 5 levels. And then you're transferring that video over Bluetooth.
Well, that's not the issue. I mean, Bluetooth's just data. It'll pass whatever quality level.
Yeah, but no. To get it transferred at a reasonable level, they compress the shit out of it.
No.
There's like a higher quality like Wi-Fi thing, but then you have to set up like the Wi-Fi ad hoc mode where the glasses put out their own Wi-Fi thing. And
because the battery's gonna like love that.
Exactly. So the yellow carrying case is actually a charging dock.
I don't understand why companies cannot understand this, right? You know, I'm sorry, but Star Trek solved this issue like literally decades ago.
Well, is it decades ago? The show was decades ago.
Well, yeah, Star Trek.
The show was set decades in the future.
You know,
millennia in the future.
Well, no, centuries. But,
I've never watched Star Trek, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm much more of a Star Wars fan.
24th century, so
so 2500s.
No, 300s. 24th century. Yep. Yeah, they in one of the it probably might mean nothing to you, but in one of the DS9 they had
I know that's deep.
Yep. Instead of having glasses, it was like a headband that came down and had a little arm that came out and had a little, head-up display in the corner. And that way, it was resting on your head, so you didn't have to make the thing weigh 2 grams and have the teeniest, tiniest, most microscopic battery ever. You could actually put some reasonable juice into the damn thing. And Google and now it seems Snapchat have not noticed this, decided that these must be things that go on your face and therefore have we seen the specs of what the battery is on this?
I think it's in the neighborhood of like 50 milliamps.
Right. Okay, so how many minutes of video do we think that can stream?
I don't know, because it goes into not hibernate mode, but like a low power mode after, say you take a 10-second video. If you don't touch it again to extend that, I think after like 30 seconds, it goes into low power mode. So they say it will last a day on its own, but the yellow carrying case it comes in is actually a portable charger for it that carries 4 charges.
Yeah, so when they say it needs to last, it can do a day. What it needs to be able to do is you've gone to a conference and you want to record the whole thing, you know, or you're a student and you want to record, you know, your day's worth of lectures so you can, you know, play them back at a later date.
This is never going to be that. This is never going to be that purely because it only records 10 seconds at a time.
Exactly, which means, like, what use is it to anybody? This is going
if you're a really heavy Snapchatter, I kind of get it. But like I'm an occasional Snapchatter, and I kind of want these for the interesting factor more than, wow, these are amazing. I'm intrigued more than anything else.
Oh, I get that, but if this actually takes off and is a success, I will be stunned.
I mean, they're in black, teal, or coral, so black, turquoise, and pink.
I mean, these literally are.
They're Silicon Valley colors. That's what they are. They're Silicon Valley colors.
I was thinking they're for people who can't see. I mean, like, you know, if you're blind.
Blind or?
No. I was just thinking blind.
Oh, okay. But no. So you got the camera is on the right side and the button's on the left. But when you press a button, an LED ring spins, so people outside know you're recording. And there's also a flashing LED on the inside of the arm, so you know when it stops recording.
Yeah, coming to a Starbucks near you.
Not that counting 10 seconds is hard, but whatever.
I don't know, for the people who buy it, it might be.
Yeah. But I'm intrigued. I'd love to get a pair in, but like I said, the only way to get them is either pay near 1,000, pay near 10 times its asking price on eBay through a scalper, or drive a ridiculous amount of time and go to one of these vending machines that are randomly popping up over the States and wait in line for like 4 hours. That's it. Like I said, so that's why it's like they go on sale. Kinda, if you live somewhere where one of these vending machines is going to randomly pop up.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
Oh, what a shame. I'm sure I don't. Oh, no. Woe is me.
Yeah. I think it's in Oklahoma today.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
It's okay, well, I'm not going to say anything bad about Oklahoma, but it wouldn't be necessarily the sort of place I would think is, like, super tech nerdy. And
oh no, it's one of the first places where Google Fiber was.
Yeah, but didn't they deliberately put Google Fiber into places that basically had complete crap internet?
So all of the US
outside Silicon Valley.
Yes.
In Seattle, apparently you can get super awesome broadband in Seattle.
Yeah, and oh god, I can't remember where. I think it's 1 or 2 parts of San Francisco. There's an ISP called Sonic.net, which is apparently amazing. But it's like they wire up entire apartment complexes in one go. So they only really do like 1 or 2 expansions like every year.
So basically it's like American hyper optic.
Yeah.
So great if you happen to live in the exact place that they're going to go to, but
if you don't, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
So, speaking about things that have gone on sale, only kind of just the NES Classic. So, I think it was like 6 months ago now. It's surprisingly long ago. Nintendo announced this teeny tiny mini NES, which is not really an NES. It just looks like one. And it's essentially a really cheap Android phone. On the inside, it's a quad-core Cortex A7 processor with 512 megabytes of storage and 256 megabytes of RAM. It's got an HDMI output to do 1080p 60, and it does 5 volts, 1 amp, micro USB in, and that's it. Oh, and it's got mini NES controllers which use, for some strange reason, the Wii connector instead of USB for proprietary reasons. So thank you, Nintendo. It comes pre-installed with like 30 of the best NES games. I mean, look, let's be real. You're going to play 2 games on it. You're going to play the Mario Suite, and you're going to play Legend of Zelda.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's Pac-Man on there, there's Donkey Kong, Legends of Zelda. I mean, there are things that I think there is enough on there to last you till school starts in January.
Oh, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is for.
And it's cool to, like, have around, and every now and then, when you don't want to play anything that's too, like, mind-intensive, it's cool to just, like, sit back and relax and just play something fun instead of playing something that you're really invested in.
Yeah, well, I mean, this I kind of think goes back to an issue I have with a great many games, modern games, is a lot of them, they're so focused on making the graphics look awesome, the actual game itself is shit.
Yeah.
Whereas these, the graphics was all terrible. I mean, they were all awful. So you actually had to put things into, gameplay. And, granted a little more advanced in this, but, you ended up with things like Tetris, Lemmings, games where on the surface they seem so simple and
like the early Marios.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, graphically, nothing to write home about.
No.
But the actual gameplay was so fun that you kept coming back, and there's still, like, staples 30, 40 years later.
Yeah. I mean, fun.
I mean, it's like, at this point, Nintendo could launch a new console. Say that, what's it called, the Switch, their brand new one. They could literally launch the Switch with just, like, one Mario game. They could launch it with all first-party games, all Nintendo-made games, and it'd still sell out. Like, their first production run would sell out.
Wow.
Because their first-party IP is one of the strongest out there. Like, people will buy a Mario game. People will buy a Zelda game. People will buy a Pokemon game. Like, yeah. That's it. Like, the 3DS is not great hardware. Yet they're pretty much always sold out because Nintendo's like, oh yeah, by the way, Smash Bros. Boom. Oh yeah, by the way, new Pokemon game. There, go for it. And then they
it's not
they just spike every now and again because Nintendo know how to do it.
They focus on making games that are actually nice to play.
Exactly. It's like I still have an original Nintendo Wii, and I still play Mario Kart on it because it's just fun. It's a fun game to play. It's not too mentally taxing. You just play it. It's not like, oh shit. It's not like one of those, oh god, what are they called? First-person shooters or MMORPGs or whatever they're called, where you have to like do.
Yeah, there's nothing complicated, or you fire it up, you go pew 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 pew, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like the most difficult a Nintendo game gets is bloody Pokemon, where you're like, oh, I'm gonna like run around in this grass like 10 times to level up my Pokemon. That's like as kind of difficult as it gets. Like otherwise it's pretty much just like you walk around, you pick shit up, like that. It's it, and it just works. Like Nintendo knows how to do that. So it's $60 or 50 quid, and these things sold out instantly. They went on like pre-order like the 6 months ago.
Yeah, well, I followed up
within the day they were sold out. This is before they'd even made any. They're like, yeah, we'll just put the link up and we'll just gauge how many, and they just fucking sold them out. They're like, whoa, like
this is the Christmas, I think, must-have, and you're saying, it's officially like $60. If you go onto Amazon.co.uk now and you look for it, the thing is available. It is available, and it's there's 29 places selling it. So there's still lots of them out there, and from £139.
I said it's just like the Snapchat spectacles. People buy multiples of them, and then because they know they're going to be hard to get, they just sell them at ridiculous. Yeah. I've just gone on. Yeah, you're right. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, if you actually look and scroll through, there is one place that is selling them at £300. I mean,
And like,
granted,
people will buy them, and they shouldn't, but people will buy them.
I hope nobody pays £300 for one of these. I really do, but
it's like people that spend the £800 for the Snapchat glasses. They just want it so bad. They don't care what they have to pay to get it. And
yeah,
like they are full on his money and all that. Just let them lose it. But yeah, no, these sold out within like minutes. I think minutes might even be.
Yeah, I
somewhat
think getting one between now and Christmas will be extremely difficult.
Oh yeah, no. If you didn't pre-order one or get one like day one, you're either not getting one before Christmas, or you are being bent over a barrel and really not enjoying it to get one, or you are enjoying it. Who knows? I don't know you. I don't judge. But no, it's just it's not the only way to get NES games on the TV. Like I have done it a gazillion times. I don't even know where my current one is, but I've got Raspberry Pis running RetroPie and USB SNES controllers, and like, on my projector I've got Game Boys, I've got NES, SNES, Atari 2600, and I sit and play like Pokemon Fire Red at 100 inches on my screen. And again, it's not the only way to do it, and there are NES cases for the Raspberry Pis, but there's something about it being licensed by Nintendo that I think some people just love.
Well, the thing is, this is easy.
Yeah, and again,
you plug it in and that's it. You turn it on and it works. Any moron can work this.
Yeah, you don't have. It doesn't have to have internet. All the games are already on there. You need one HDMI port, and you can probably even power this from the USB port on a TV. 5 volts, 1 amp is not hard. Most phone chargers are higher than that nowadays. So, yeah, like there's nothing really I can say. Like, if you didn't pre-order one and you didn't buy one brand new, you're just pretty much not getting one. Do you have anything else to say, or is that do you just like mirror my?
Basically same thing. The only thing I would kind of add is whilst I see this as being the Christmas product for this year, I suspect that by Easter nobody will care about this product.
Which means they'll be right back down where they should be. Which is when I'm going to buy my one. Despite already having multiple Raspberry Pis that do exactly the same thing, I will probably still buy one.
Yeah. I mean, this will be super cool, but the fact it has 30 games, and most of those games are... so it won't have longevity, but
at 50 quid, I don't think it needs to.
No, I mean, this is you buy this is what your kids will sit and play until they go back to school.
I mean, like me and you can speak about this because we're slightly older. I don't think Chris would have gotten it. Do you remember early 2000s? There were all those like retro consoles with like joysticks that plugged in with the RCA cables into the front of your TV that had like 8 games.
Yeah, I remember the Atari joystick.
Yeah. This is essentially the 2016 version of that.
Yeah,
they've taken an old console that was, I'd say irrelevant, but the NES is like never irrelevant really. But kind of out of the mainstream public's eye, and there's like, yo, you want some of this? Boom, nostalgia. So all of your childhood back again. So give us some money and you can have that childhood back. And like I said, they've done some really cool shit. They've got like CRT filters on it. They've got like a standard 4:3, but they've also gone through each one and done a pixel perfect mode, which is they've remastered every single pixel to be a square. So and it'll look great. And it's sure you can do this on like a Wii or a Wii U with a virtual console, but like this is actually faster and it looks better. And I like this. You'd spend more than $60. You'd spend more than like 50, 60 quid on buying those games on the Wii U. I'd rather get an entire special console for it and have them run better, personally.
Yep.
There's nothing really more to say.
No, it's great. Everybody loves it. This is awesome. This is cool. And if you don't get one for your children will hate you, and they will remember it.
I mean, your children are going to hate you anyway. Kids are kids. They're going to hate you for whatever stupid reason they can think of. So, speaking about kids that are going to hate you for no reason, the new MacBook Pros have dropped, and kids hating you for no reason. That's what I'm going to call the reviewers this time around. Pretty much. So, in the last week or two, in the last couple of days, the 15-inch and 13-inch models with touch bars have just started shipping. And then a week or two ago, the non-touch bar 13, which shouldn't be called a Pro, shipped. And we've pretty much got all the reviews now. Have you read any of them, Mark? I assume not, because you're not really interested.
Yeah, I have very little interest in this. I'm going to vaguely assume that they all more or less read along the lines of the touch bar. It's kind of cool, but I don't really know what's the point of it. And everything else is going to come up to expensive laptop, actually quite good. Shocker.
Mostly. I think Gizmodo had probably my favorite one. The MacBook Pro's touch bar is a gimmick that's not worth the money, in brackets, yet. Which is pretty much what you said. It's cool at the moment, but it's not really worth the money. I think the only one that said something really positive about the touch bar, which even then wasn't all that positive, was The Verge's review. Most seem to be in the either quite negative or just meh camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as when LG did the little bar thing at the top of their phones. It's oh, right, okay. It's kind of sort of, you can do stuff with it, but I'm not sure what you're going to do with it. But it's fine.
And I think the important thing is most of them don't even know. Mostly Apple and LG don't even know what they really want to do with it.
No, I think this is just Apple beginning to sort of look for ways to differentiate their laptop from the competition now that other companies are actually beginning to make proper consumer, high-end, expensive quality laptops, i.e. Microsoft, with the Surface lines. Because for a long time, most PC makers were making cheap laptops because that's what sold. And it's still mostly what sells, but it's not what makes profits.
No, it's not.
And so Apple, for a good while, was basically...
I'd probably say for the last decade, Apple was the only one really making money.
Yeah, an expensive... Well, not so much making money, but making an expensive, good quality product.
Yeah.
And so, well, of course, their laptops were better than, Windows laptops, because your Windows laptop, was £400 and came with, with a box of crisps free from PC World. Yeah, the expensive product is better. Shocker. I mean, who knew that would be the case? And pretty much because of the Surface line, I think this is Apple looking for something to say, look, our MacBook is different. It's different. I mean, it's got something special.
I mean, up until the Surfaces, pretty much, you weren't spending over £1,000 on a Windows laptop unless it was a gaming machine. And when you're buying a gaming machine, it's 3 inches thick. It lasts 2 minutes on the battery alone, and it sounds like a Concorde taking off. So it was easy for Apple to say, look, we've got metal, it's beautiful,
it's pretty,
and it's powerful. And there was really no Windows analog to that, and now we're seeing, like I said, more and more of it. And I think one of the big things is Apple probably decided a while ago, years, probably before Windows 8. So before, I'd probably say 2010-ish, Apple decided there is not going to be a touchscreen Mac. iOS and macOS are two very different things to Apple, so we're never getting a touchscreen Mac. And I think this is them saying, look, we won't put a full touchscreen on, but look how useful this touch bar is. We're taking away those function keys that you maybe sort of somewhat use, and now you have dynamic function keys, which is what I think this is going to end up being. It's not going to end up being anything entirely useful. I think we might see things like Spotify adding in media controls, and I think we might see other things. But some of the stuff they showed with like DJ apps where you can like go back and forth and change the tempo, I think that's going to be the exception, not the rule. I think it's just going to be a dynamic function part.
To be honest, I see it mostly as being a really easy volume control.
Yeah, easy volume control, easy brightness control.
Beyond that, it's like
it's a slightly more functional function, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't see it and thinking, that's so what I needed. I need that at the top of my keyboard.
And like I said, it's annoying because the other thing you get with it is you get the Touch ID the Touch ID power button, which is like, oh, you can use it for logging in, and then obviously they've got their password manager and like iTunes purchases. Like that's all well and good, but you don't get that if you don't get the touch bar model. I think that was
Apple always make their cheapest model broken in some way.
Oh yeah, no, they
always do it.
Entirely gimped, and it's on an even worse level this year.
It's so that they can sit there and go prices from number.
But it's if the 13-inch with touch bar and the 15-inch with touch bar, they both have 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, 2 on each side. On the 15-inch model, all 4 ports at the same speed. On the 13-inch model, 2 of those are half speed because the chips they sell to you doesn't have the right amount of PCIe lanes to connect up all 4 to have full Thunderbolt 3 connectivity.
Well, though, to be honest, it's not like anybody buys a Mac product because they look at the spec sheet and go, ooh, that's the best.
No, but I mean, like, this isn't even documented anywhere. That's the thing. Like, you have to know the amount of PCIe
people who buy MacBooks wouldn't understand it if they were told anyway.
I don't know. It depends. If they're like a video creator, they might. Because there are a lot of video editing apps that are very well GPU accelerated on macOS that they aren't on Windows. But for the grand majority of things, I think you're right. GPU acceleration in Windows.
MacBooks are for writing your novel in Starbucks, right? That's what they're for.
Or editing video on the go. When you're plugged into a desk and you can have as much power as you want and you don't care about the electricity bill, I agree wholeheartedly. But on notebooks, the amount of optimization that Apple has done with iMovie and Final Cut is ridiculous. Like there is no Windows analog to iMovie or Final Cut because they are so well optimized that you can like edit video on on the 12-inch Core M MacBook. You can't edit video on a Core M Windows machine and have it be worth a damn. It's just not doable. But no, I do agree that for most of the user base, it is for writing your novel in Starbucks, writing your screenplay that's never going to be made. But back to the original news thing is these reviews have dropped, and for the first time ever, they're not glaringly positive. They're decidedly meh, which is something new for Apple. I think a lot of people. When was the last major Apple release that was met with meh by nearly the entire industry?
Oh, well, that's different. I mean, I think a lot of media lovies just tend to love Apple because they just love Apple. And a lot of the reviews tend to just be ridiculous, glowing things because Apple likes to toss around words like magical. It's like, no, nothing you make is magical, right? If there's a unicorn involved, right, then it's magical. Okay?
But what was the last major Apple product that was launched?
Their phones.
Huh?
Their phones.
Their phones? No.
Yeah, the last ones.
What, the 7?
Yeah, I think probably, no, I'd say even sort of the 6S, and even to an extent, maybe the 6. People have stopped going, oh, wow, this is so amazing, because there is actual competition in that same price point.
There is competition, and I do think things have been less positive or less overarchingly positive. But but I don't think there's been anything as decidedly meh as this. Maybe the first gen watch.
Well, yeah,
But when the watch first came out, it was super clunky, super laggy, had almost no battery, had almost no apps. Like, but it was still like, oh, Apple's entering a new category, so people were at least interested, even if the product wasn't great. Like, this is Apple's released new laptops, and they're okay.
I think there's been more of it if you chose to look, because like when they did away with the proper Mac Pros, you know, the proper big ones,
the towers,
and they made the little dustbin thing. There were a lot of people unhappy with the little dustbin thing.
But,
a lot.
But when people got them in, they were like, wow, this is the fastest machine Apple has sold to consumers, and it looks great.
See, I remember things like, you know, places that review these products like The Guardian, you know, hipsters, they thought, wow, this is cool. But the more professional people were saying, I need internal expansion, I need extra hard drives, I need upgradability. This does not have it. This is not an upgrade, Apple.
Yeah. And if you were coming from a previous Mac Pro that had a dual socket motherboard, it had upgradable RAM DIMM slots, which the new Mac Pro does, but only has DDR3, so you can only go up to, I think, 64 gigs, maybe 128.
Oh, I thought there was something where like all the the new laptops you can max is 16 because
yes, but no, that's soldered on.
Power.
That's on the laptops. On the Mac Pro, not the MacBook Pro.
Right.
The trash can. It's got upgradable DIMM slots, but it's because it came out before. Oh God.
Something.
Before it came out, before X99, which is the Haswell E Extreme Edition motherboards, it still used DDR3 RAM. And the just like pure density and logic issues, I don't think you can go more than 16 gig per DIMM, and there's 4 slots. So yeah, 64 gigs I think is the highest you can go, unless someone's made 32 gig DIMMs, and I have not heard of it.
To be honest, don't know, haven't looked. It's not the sort of thing.
No,
I mean, once it starts getting to that point where it becomes more cost effective just to buy a new machine.
Yeah, no, and I get that, and it's like, I need more storage. Well, Apple created a custom version of the M.2 key, so you can't just put a standard M.2 drive in. You've got to get the Apple special M.2 drive, of which there are none. And I don't even believe there are any adapters to go from Apple PCIe to M.2 M key, which is super annoying.
Although I did see an amusing JPEG that was running around the internet the other week that was declaring dongles to be Apple's, latest growth category, because there's rather than saying there's an app for that, it was there's a dongle for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's as much of an issue as everyone is making it out to be. I think once you've either bought the new cables or bought an adapter, that's it, you have it. It's like, oh, I can't plug my iPhone into my 12-inch MacBook or my MacBook Pro. I was like, yes, you can. They sell a USB-C to Lightning cable. Man up and buy the fucking cable. But it's like,
or just buy a grown-up computer.
I need to buy the dongle. Fine, you buy the dongle once and you've got the fucking dongle. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I do think it is a slight issue. Yes, I do. I don't think it's nearly as big as an issue as people think it to be.
It's an issue you only have if you buy an Apple product, though.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
There is the ZenBook 3 by Asus. Has literally a single USB-C port and headphone jack, same as for the MacBook. But it's got a full-size Core i7 and upgradable storage and everything like that. But it's only got a single USB-C port.
But I can assure you, if I had that, I would not need to buy a USB-C to Lightning adapter if I didn't buy an Apple product. It's like if you choose to live in their ecosystem, you accept that they are going to financially bend you over and abuse you in the worst of ways. It's that simple.
I didn't even know the last time I plugged my phone into my computer. Like, the last time I did that was when I was like transferring custom ROMs over, and I haven't done that since like the Nexus 4.
I did it the other day.
I'm not saying that no one ever does it. I'm just
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not something I do regularly. It was easier to plug the phone into the computer than it was to remove the SD card and throw 30 gigs of music on it.
Yeah.
It was easier just to plug it in and do it that way.
Yeah. So before that's it. The news is finished. It's just going to annoy me more otherwise. Should we just get onto this small discussion topic?
Sure.
So we spoke about this a bit earlier with the spectacles and stuff. So discussion topics is like, are like face computers ever going to be a thing, or something like better come along before like face computers are realized? So like the assistants in ears, like what that movie, Her, with Scott Johansson and Joaquin Phoenix. Or are we going to get like the Google Glass face computer, like the Snapchat glasses? I mean, there was a rumor said that Apple's working on one. Like, what do you think?
Okay, do you remember Terminator 2?
Yes.
Do you remember the opening sequence?
Where is it the catch point with like, the little laptop thing? Or?
No. Where Arnie has just appeared. He's clothless and wandering around, and he walks into the bar, and for some reason, the operating system feels the need to actually physically display information for him, apparently. Well, obviously, it's just done for our benefit so that we can read. Okay, see when it can do that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
That is what it's going to be useful for. There are certain situations where I can see it being great. Like, say you work in a hotel, or the big one really is a hospital. You've got your magic pair of glasses on. You don't actually need to know who the fuck these people are.
You've got no more charts at the end of beds.
Well, you can leave the charts, because people like things to hold. But, person comes up to you and starts speaking, and it goes, boom, it's, Mrs. Whoever, blah, 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 patient is, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's pulling up. It's recognized something, and it's contextually realized that the information you probably want is
name, age,
issue, whatever. It'll be something like that. If you're on the reception, Mrs. Whoever comes in, and it immediately recognizes, her patient, blah, blah, is her husband, he's in blah, blah, and, tiny accident, he's going to be fine, or, oh shit, she needs to call a priest, right? It comes up with information that is relevant. And
so would that still be like implants, are you thinking?
I think glasses, because I don't see this being something that people will need in their general life.
I kind of agree with that wholeheartedly. I still think for a long while we're going to need visual prompts for things. I don't think we can do it all by sound. So like whilst we see the whole the Xperia ear type thing, we've got those like truly wireless earbuds, which I tried on the pad the other day. They just fucking suck at the moment. I don't think we can do enough things from audio alone yet. I still think we have enough stuff that needs a visual cue.
There are certain things that visual just works better.
Yeah. So like I said, when you're in the hospital, reading out that it's Mrs. Jones, she's 56, she has dementia, and she's not meant to be off the ward, that would take way too long to hear.
Yeah, and also the other thing is when it's done hearing-wise, it has to go through everything. When it's presented to you, you can see, right, I don't care, that's the bit I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And you know, and not just, you know, in hospitals, but anything, any kind of like hospitality thing.
Yeah. Oh God, I can totally see that. Yeah.
You
Like,
workplace
PR,
environments.
like PR events. Like I can already see like the hosts at PR work events. All the journalists they meet over time, and they just forget who the fuck they are. They wear them. You walk up to someone at the event, and it says,
So
Alex
from
Dopey, Android Central.
yeah,
Blah, blah. Like
you know, from important kiss ass. From tiny place ignored.
Buy many a drink. Stuff like that. I do think, like, for certain places, they have very much of a benefit. I don't think they will be I don't think everyone's going to have them. I think, like, you're right, all these things like hospitals or PR, like hospitality, like, things like that, where there is a very obvious use case. Otherwise, I think
not least of which, because I think for once they start to work properly, they're not going to be super cheap.
Oh God! I mean, like Google Glass was $1,500. Take a third of that off. Say $1,000. That's still a lot. And say you get 15% off discount when you buy 1,000 for like hospitals, or whatever. I don't know how many. Like it's still a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, the other one that just kind of you know, would be an amazing thing for is, because it keeps coming around in the news, would be like police.
Yeah, like body cams, stuff like that.
Yep. You know, record everything, not just the recording everything, but again, you know, being able to recognize certain things, you know, being able to recognize, you know, a person or whatever, you know.
I mean, if they were smart enough and like the data connection was like constant enough, you could even have it so like you're walking down the street and you could see, like cars' license plates. And it can scan the license plate and say like this car is uninsured. This car has no tax. And it can highlight that car in the middle of the street for you. Like when it can do stuff like that, like I think that would be like quite amazing. But again, like a police officer, that's a very specialized use case.
Well, these are, and you know,
I think we're in agreement here. This is not going to be a general consumer, like a general population item.
I think in the longer term, it will become available, partly because there will be situations, social, that it's convenient. And if it just happens to be built into your glasses because it was 10% more to get the glasses with it than without it, that's when it will start to become something that you use. So you're at parties, you know, it'll flash up, you know, so and so, but you know, you last met at, you know, the wife's name is, so you can, you know, fake your way knowing, you know, who people are and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, like someone you don't see at work very often, but it'll pop up, say like, just came back from paternity leave, so you can say, oh, how's the child?
Yeah, no,
you can feign interest and knowledge.
Yeah, not just you know, how's the child, but pulls up child's name, pulls up husband's name, you know, and you can go, oh yeah, so you're back, you know, great to see you back. How's little whatever, you know, doing? Those sorts of situations, I think, yep. But whilst those are kind of cool, those are not something that we're all going to pay a lot of money for. Because, you know, if I don't care enough to like learn your name, then yeah, I don't care enough to buy something to remind me your name.
It's a convenience, and also like it's a save my ass feature more than anything else. As I said, it's feigning interest and knowledge to make it seem like you actually do care about this person and or your job.
Yeah.
Fake it. It's like it's the physical embodiment of fake it till you make it. I'm kind of happy to leave that where it is and in the episode. How about that? Are you okay?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, before I forget, products we've got in for review, but also product recommendations.
Okay. Oh yes, I'd forgotten all about this. Right. So the product recommendations. This was the something every week under 50 quid.
Yes, though that price point may be changing. Hardware or software, yes.
Right. Okay, so I have to come up with something completely and totally off the top of my head. Are we allowed to go with random things that are on sale?
Yeah, as long as I can buy it. Sure.
Okay, sure. The other day there was some Asus phone was going for 40 quid. I can't remember which one it was. It was on Hot Deals UK. So I could probably look that up really quick, right? You know,
me to do my pick.
Sorry?
Whilst you're doing that, do you want me to say my pick so you can find it?
Yes, sure.
My pick is actually in the room. I can't grab it right now, but it is the Hi-Fi Man RE00 in monitors. I bought these on a recommendation of Mark. They were a drop for a mass drop. That never gets normal to say. If they were a drop for $35 or like £30 plus like £5 for shipping or something like that. And they are like reference quality monitors. They are amazing. If you get rid of the shockingly bad built-in ear tips, they actually seal really well, and then you can actually have a really enjoyable listening experience. Like, I was actually really kind of disappointed in them at first because they sealed so badly. Like, the volume wasn't all that great, the bass was just lost. And then I just put some other ones on, and I was like, well, now I see what Mark is talking about. These are kind of amazing. So yeah, I think they're doing another drop. So they are mass drop Hi-Fi Man RE-00. Oh, you got yours?
No, I'm still looking for it because I think I said Asus, but maybe it was Asus. I can't really totally remember.
Did you not put it in the Slack chat?
Oh no, there it is. It was the Asus Zenfone 4. For £44 and 50 pence. So you know, gig of RAM only and 8 gigs of storage. Sorry. So obviously it's not the greatest spec device ever in the world, but for under 50 quid,
yeah,
you know, that's going to be a not bad device. So if you're looking for something you maybe want to, you know, pick up for a child or for you know, a non-tech savvy wife or whatever.
Even like a backup phone to like have in the car.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize this was a thing until I went to London and my phone was dead because I forgot to charge it the night before and there was just no signal on the way down there, or up there. So obviously your phone searching for signal all the time just kills the battery. And I didn't have a USB-C cable on it. I left it in my bag at home. I take it with me when I go to like, work or uni. Obviously I wasn't going to work or uni, so I didn't bring my bag with me. So my phone had died and I was like, shit, I would have given like almost anything, even to have like a shit phone just in the car for me to put my SIM in. Just to communicate with someone, saying like, oh, traffic on the M25. So having like a super cheap phone that's just like there is kind of useful. So again, under 50 quid.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the selling point with this is not that it's a super amazing, awesome device, because, well, it's not, but it is insanely cheap. So for 45 quid, I mean, I don't think you can really go wrong with that.
All right, so what product have you got into review that's going up either this week or, what's going on this week?
Okay, I think it's either gone live or is about to, and this was one of the things.
I don't know what these is. Oh, wireless earbuds.
Yeah. So those are quite. Sorry.
Who buy?
A company called Syllable.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, no, I had basically never heard of them either until they contacted me and asked if they could send me some stuff. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? So they sent me those, and they are not bad. I really I like the concept more than anything. The audio, the things are 40 quid. If you spent 40 quid on, say, like buying the RE0s, you get much better audio quality, but you don't get their Bluetoothiness. And not only are they Bluetoothiness, you will notice no wire at all joining the other pair. So completely wireless. And what's even weirder and cooler is that the little case thing has its own battery. So you take these, you know, you've got, because the battery life in these is rated at 2 hours. So not awesome.
Is it actually 2 hours?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or is it like laptop claims? Like, it's 16 hours if you have the screen all the way to 0 and only watch a local video and don't touch it.
No. Generally, audio ones are a lot more accurate. So they said 2 hours. That seems about fair to me. You know, I didn't have any huge, you know, issues with them dying before that. But yeah, 2 hours is not the longest. But because the little case, it has its own battery in there. When you close, see, the thing lights up. And I don't know if you can quite make out the little red light. No.
I can't, but that might just be your webcam, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But no, that's good, because if you're wearing them more than 2 hours at a time, if you're wearing them more than 2 hours at a time, you're probably going to want to take them off just for like comfort reasons. I think anything in your ears for that long gets a bit tiresome.
Yeah.
And then when you put them back in for like 5-10 minutes, that's a fair amount of charge back up.
Exactly. I kind of see this more as you use them for, you know, you're going on a run, you're going to the gym, you're doing something, you know, you're commuting to work. You stick them in the little case, then they get to charge a bit, and you're fine to you know, the return journey. But still, they're kind of cool. So there was those. One of the things I started playing with today, okay, and this is a case.
A speaker? Oh.
It's a case.
Okay.
Okay. $25.
What?
Yeah. $25. Do you want to know how heavy this is?
25 grams.
No.
I have no idea. Upwards. 500 grams.
181.
Shitting hell, what is that made out of? Lead?
More or less.
That's steel.
Can you hear the...
That's steel.
It's an aluminium alloy. It feels like anodized aluminium.
Aluminium is light as all hell. They must be alloying it with something, unless it's also like really thick walls.
Relatively. I mean, this is, you know, 181 grams. This is not the lightest thing ever. And I don't know... Sorry?
Is it for headphones or just for anything?
Earphones, although I guess you could put whatever you wanted in it. I mean, I suggested, you know, it feels more appropriate to have like diamonds in it. Because I don't know if this noise comes across. But
It definitely does.
I mean, this is the most insanely overprotective case I have ever seen. I mean, it's $25, but Jesus Christ, like, oh my God, this thing is... I mean,
yeah.
You know,
you're gonna start bleeding your knuckles if you try that again.
Yeah, I mean, like, this will protect whatever's inside it. Actually, on the packaging...
That will protect your home if you throw it hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, on the packaging, they actually rate that as being, you know, fireproof.
I believe it.
Right? I mean, surely, though, it's going to get hot and melt anything inside it. But hey, you know, point being, I mean, this is the most insane case I have ever seen for anything. It's just spectacular and crazy and awesome and crazy.
It's ridiculously for its purpose.
Oh yeah. I mean, I you know, in the review that I was writing today of this, I've said, you know, I would actually like to see somebody put one of these into a hydraulic press and see just what it takes to crush it, because, you know, previous cases that I've had, you know, if you squeeze them with your fingers, you know, or get your hands really onto them, you can deform them. This, no.
That would deform you first.
Yeah.
So I have the Optoma HD28 DSE. Try to keep it for as long as possible. The review for that is going up tomorrow at 1 p.m. Spoiler, I fucking loved it. And I'm very sad to go back to my old projector, which is like a really weird thing to say, because I was like, I fucking love this projector. It's carried me through a lot of stuff. But so yeah, that's going up tomorrow, and I think end of this week, so like Friday or Saturday, I've got this, the Wiley Fox Swift 2 Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the other things that, I don't know, might can't go up this week because it's mostly written.
Speaker.
Yeah.
Speaker box.
Yes. You can't see, but there's another one over on the other side. Yamaha sent me a couple of their wireless speakers, and they are really actually pretty good. Much better than what you would kind of think. Not perfect product. You know, there is. I kind of feel that what they really need is they really also need to have a bog standard 3.5mm jack.
Mm-hmm. Do they not have one? Is it just like Bluetooth or nothing?
Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
They lose the option for Wi-Fi, so it's like it's more stable, high fidelity, high bandwidth.
Yeah, I mean the Wi-Fi. Yamaha do a really nice phone app where you can connect to, you know, what's on your phone. You can stream stuff over your network. Sorry.
Are they like the? So can you like? Can you do like a Chromecast? Like, is it Chromecast audio, or is it just like Yamaha's proprietary thing?
Well, it also has Yamaha's proprietary thing. Chromecast I haven't tried, but it does also have AirPlay. So,
okay, wow, that's a bit of a throwback in my land.
Well, if you do anything with Apple or iTunes, you know, AirPlay is still a thing. So they work fine with that. And one of the interesting sort of like cool things you can do with them is because last time Yamaha sent me their slightly bigger and older brothers, they only sent me one of them, and so I couldn't test out the feature where you can pair them and turn them into a stereo set.
Cool.
Yeah, so this time they did send me two, and I've been playing around with that, and they really are not bad at all acoustically. You know, really quite impressed with what Yamaha have done, and they haven't tried to go silly buggers with the bass.
Which is as we were speaking about the other day, really rare in modern audio products apparently.
Yeah, there are certain audio products and certain companies where they have marketed to people as better means more bass. It doesn't. You know, it's like
the more that you're not hearing the bass, you're not feeling the bass. It shakes your entire body. It shakes your skull.
Yes, it's a fallacy, but it's what people do. It's like, for
it's a very
example,
visceral thing, which is what makes people think it's better. It's like they think louder is better, not.
Yeah, you know, it's one of the things that like that happens with bread. If you want people to think that bread is, until fairly recently, higher quality, what you did was you added more sugar.
Oh God, yeah. Or you bleached it whiter.
Yeah, bleach it whiter than white and add more sugar, and that's what people go with. And it's only now that people are beginning to actually realize what something ought to be, and getting away from that kind of, you know, synthesized crapness. You know, and it's nice to see Yamaha doing that. And one of the other things that we have in, although there's actually is a whole bunch of shit, we've got a headset in, which is the shit, what's it, the HS11B. So it's super pretty named. Although I almost used that for the podcast for the mic. Gosh, right. And what else do we have? We have these. The Advanced Audio Works M4, because they're really awesomely named. And we have the other awesomely named Model 3. So whoever's coming up with the naming there, maybe somebody needs to fire them. And we also have, sitting on my desk, this is what I've been playing with most of the week. And if you've seen me tweet about things being really good and making me walk the really long way home, because they're so good, it's these.
Well, they're tiny, aren't they?
They are, actually, that is by far the biggest problem with them. They are so fucking tiny, so fucking small. Literally, once they're in your ears, there is always... Yeah, I desperately keep trying not to pull them by the cable, and all... I mean...
I can't even try and do that on these, because it's hard to get the M6 Pros out unless you do it properly. But,
no, I mean, these things are tiny. I mean, tiny. Do you see how much of that sticks out from the actual phone thing? Tiny.
I feel like those would be good to like wear to bed because they wouldn't stick out too far.
I guess, but I mean, they are like $300, so I probably wouldn't use that. Yeah, no, maybe not. But I mean, they are actually fantastic. The audio is so nice. It's so really good. I just... They need to put either a little something to grip, and they need to give a better cable strain relief, because I'm terrified I'm going to kill them.
All the time, you know?
Yeah, terrified.
I will say, after having the M6 Pros for a while, ouch. Any over-the-ear headphones that doesn't have this like memory wire stuff is utterly useless. Like I'm all for it going around the back of my ear. That's great. But if it doesn't conform to the back of my ear, it might as well not be behind there, if that makes sense.
To be honest, I'm not wild about the memory wire and ear guides. I've rarely encountered ones where I've gone, gosh, that's really helpful, I'm glad that's there.
Might have been me then.
It's something you kind of will get used to, and some are better than others, and some are worse than others. And generally, I found the best I can say about them is some of them don't get in the way.
Yeah. Well, that is where I'm going to end this, seeing as we started doing the picks 15 minutes ago and we're still talking about them.
Yeah, well, it's your fault. You started going on about Larry Zeros and then audio, and then you just kind of like let me run.
I asked for a pick, and then the reviews are going up this week.
Right, yes.
All that shit's coming out this week.
Right, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, December is coming. There's lots of companies I've said I will do my best to get these out before December hits. Because...
Anyway, the website is www.mobiletechtalk.co.uk. I am at mobile_dom. Mark is at Mark2410. Site is at MTTFeed. On Instagram, we are Mobile Tech Talk. Facebook, we are Mobile Tech Talk UK. YouTube and Google+, just search for Mobile Tech Talk, because they won't really give us a fancy URL yet. And last but not least, our Patreon. Patreon.com/Mobile Tech Talk. If you give us some money, we can make better shit for you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. Somehow, even with only two of us, we somehow managed to go over an hour. Tell me what you think about this new format, so less news-orientated and more discussion-orientated. Until next week, I've been Dom. Bye.